to our event. Uh, an incredible woman, the mother of Micah the Poet, is right here in the house. And so it gives me great pleasure to welcome uh, to our event tonight in this phenomenal book party, the one, the only, Roberta Bennett.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you so very much for the introduction. Um, the first thing I wanted to, besides saying thank you, was this is the first time I've ever, in all the time that Mike has been speaking, this is the first time that I've ever been able to say anything. So I do thank you very much for this honor. I thank the family and the friends that are joining us tonight. I really, really do appreciate you taking the time to go ahead and be with us tonight. There are many stories that I could tell about Micah growing up and things like that, but there are three that I want to go ahead and highlight tonight that I think helped to shape and make Micah who he is. The first one was whenever Micah was the first speaking in first time there was ever any kind of speaking or anything. It was an oratorical contest at a church. Micah was, I don't know, about 8 or 9, if that old. And we had this speech down pat. Fantastic, hands down. We were gonna win, we knew it. And I made a comment, the only way that you can lose is if you get sick. Needless to say, don't speak it in an atmosphere. My child got the flu. So we were just like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? And we could have given up. We could have threw in the towel, but we did not. We went ahead and it gave us enough time for not to be infectious. So we just went ahead and said, we're going to go ahead and do this because this is the first time we've ever done anything like this. Came in second place, but in that we did understand that, you know, it's okay that you're not your best, but it's not okay not to try. And that was a very, very good thing, I think. The second time was, and I don't even think Mike even remembers this, but in our area, they have at WHUR used to have this show called The Quiet Storm. And on The Quiet Storm, it had a call in where they could, it wasn't necessarily slam poetry, but it was poetry. And they would go ahead and do a contest and they would do it offline and they would go ahead and talk to people and go ahead and let them do that. And then the DJs and things would select the best ones and they would go ahead and go online. Well, Micah, unbeknownst to me, went ahead and did this. And I'm waking up to this kid screaming at the top of his lungs, just saying, "I won! I'm gonna be on the radio." And I'm thinking, what in the world is going on? Well, needless to say, didn't win, came in second again, but did win because that was one of the two people that were allowed to speak that night. And that was the first time that Micah had gotten the opportunity to go ahead and do poetry in this capacity. 12, 13 years old, but up against adults did a very good job. I was saying, Lord, please don't let us win because there's no way that I can say a Micah and go down there, and there's no way that Micah can go down there and collect any prize because of this. But that was the second time. And in that instance, it's hard just to try, just no matter what, just to make yourself sing and to try. Third time, and this was a speaking engagement for friends of the family. It was, and both of the individuals, well, it was speaking for a 50th wedding anniversary. Both of the individuals, the couple have since passed on, but they spoke highly of Micah speaking, how articulate, the fervor that was spoken with at this point. And it showed that outside of us, that there's a group outside of the immediate family, that there was a group of people that would love you and that would always hold you up and help you to just go ahead and proceed. And that was accepted. And that was, I think, a wonderful thing because it was someone separate from the family and from our group. And I do appreciate, and all three of these times were pivotal, and they played a part in being and being who and what Michael was, where the acceptance was there and the ability to try and the ability to be who he is. So that part of it did make me happy. Um, I say all this to say I raised my kids to be polite. I raised them to be polite to everyone. I raised them to be respectful. I raised them to be just decent kids, nice kids. I raised them to give great hugs because I thought it was just such a great thing that God had blessed me with these little people that I could hug anytime I wanted, and they would hug me back anytime they wanted. And it was just a great thing. We spent a lot of times just having what we called us days, and it was just about us. And we would just lifting each other up and going and doing different things. And these all contributed to what we see today. Um, my job, I always thought, was just to accept them no matter what, to love them no matter what, to be there for them no matter what. Now, I don't want them to go out and kill nobody, but at the same time, I did want them to go ahead and be the best individual that God had blessed them to be. I wanted to pass on to them the wisdom that I've been blessed with. And my family is the same way. We wanted to go ahead and pass on whatever wisdom that we had to them and that they would be receptive to it. And so we were really, really blessed that not only this instance, but in all instances, I've raised this wonderful child. I've been blessed to raise this wonderful child. But whatever I'm showing or teaching or however, whatever I'm doing, I've always tried to let love prevail in whatever, even if it's a harsh lesson, I've always tried to let love prevail in whatever I was doing and whatever I was teaching these children. And a lot of patience. If you know Micah, you know I have had to have an abundance of patience. So much so, whenever he was little and we would say stuff, I would just look at him and go, B, and he would just shake and go, patience. But at the same time, he got it, and it would calm him down a whole bunch of times. So that was another thing. It was always a time to just be loving and patient and accepting. Finally, and I'm out. Honestly, I'm out. Whenever my kids were younger, I would always picture them as cherubs in heaven. And I would always tell them that they made the decision to come to the parents that they came to. I know it's not biblical, but it helped me to make a point with the kids when they were growing up. On good days or bad days, I would always tell them this was your choice. This is where you got to be. So you got to accept it and move on. I am so thankful that Micah chose me to be her mom. I am so thankful. And I said I wasn't going to cry, and I'm not. I am so thankful that Micah allows me to be the best mom I can be to him. All right, that's it. I pray this book is received well, and I pray that you receive it in the energy and the passion that it was put forth with. I love you, kid. That's it for me. Good night.
Can we just snap it up and throw some tissues because I am a mess too. You're having all of the interweb on Facebook Live in tears. I think this is the moment that we all need. Roberta Bennett, I hope that you will maybe consider adopting a gay Filipino Regie Cabico because um, we are cherubs in heaven. We are cherubs now. I just want to say that your heart has transferred to Micah's heart. And from that heart, there is the beautiful art. And the art is not just in the fierce poems that Micah has cultivated and put together in this collection. It is also the multiple communities that he has served throughout DC, Maryland, Virginia, and in the South, and all over the
Right.
world now. And his words are here. Um, The book is dedicated to you, and so we are just thrilled, and we are just so fortunate. Roberta Bennett, you need your own podcast. Truly, all you need to do is just be you, and I think that's going to be what's going to get us through during this uncertain time.
Thank
Is the certainty of the love that you're able to give. So let's snap it up to the one and only
thank you.
Roberta Bennett.
Thank you.
We are not done, y'all. We got more. There is more folks in the house, more celebration for this book. Things no one else wants to say by Micah the Poet. It is available on Amazon.com, but it is also available on MicahThePoet.com, Micah the Poet's website. You're certainly welcome to buy it on Amazon, but I tell you, your dollars will go further if you order directly to the website. And I think Micah will also be glad to autograph it and sign it for you all. So definitely check it out. Things no one else wants to say by Micah the Poet. This is the book party celebration for a most beloved, fierce, and passionate poet that I have had to work with through Capturing Fire and through DC Public Library and through so many events. Micah is the glue, not just literature, but also ball dance and all of this. Truly a Sagittarius poet. Uh, so anyway, without any further ado, I could go on and on, but we've got some phenomenal talent, more talent coming up here. I'm a fan of this next poet. Mysfit the Lost Boy is the Day 8 2019 award-winning author of a book of poetry called Port of Exit. Um, all right. Talented as Mysfit is gorgeous. Please snap it up for the one and only Mysfit the Lost Boy.
Hey everybody. Um, Before I get into it, Ms. Bennett, listen, before we even did this part here, you already know that you were melting my heart before. So yes, I feel everything that you give off. It's interesting that you speak about how you raised Micah, because if I think about my interactions with Micah, I've always felt love from Micah. It was always a positive vibe, always felt supported, always felt good energy from Micah. So to you, Micah, I wish you nothing but the best. I wish you nothing but success with your book. And I hope that it does everything that you want it to and everything that people may need for it to do for them. Thank you for being the voice for, people who don't have one. And thank you for having me here. I'm not going to talk too much. I'm going to do what I do. This is Can I Borrow Your Iniquities? I hope y'all can see me. If you don't mind, can I borrow your iniquities? Since my sins are so much greater and heaven has no room for me, could you loan me your transgression? See, my sexual prowess is so detestable that I need to prove that I am worthy of a straight man's blessing Christian. Let me borrow your passive aggression so I can somehow learn the lesson that Jesus loves me, but you will burn in the name of the Lord. Let me borrow your discord, Christian. Let me borrow your discord, Christian. Let me borrow your discord, Christian. How can you use your Bible as a double-edged sword and think that both of those testaments will only pierce me, or is judgment only reserved for those of you heterosexuals who sin so beautifully? Wouldn't you agree? Would you loan me your audacity, your ability, your nerve, the capacity to love and hate all in the same brush? See, my plea is simply to be sure, happy, and wanted as myself, so I feel that somebody owes me some confidence. Because after hearing all of the reasons that I am not worthy of his mercy, I have no certainty except for in the fact that I've been robbed of all of it. Christ
paid it all, but didn't factor in the cost of me. Somebody please, my soul is set to burn eternally. Would you loan me your iniquity so I can pretend to be better? See, my sexuality somehow severed ties to the Savior. So could you do me a favor? Touch your neighbor and ask him to grace me with a bit of his graces, since Jesus couldn't afford me and heaven strike homos from his budget and adjusted it just to make room for you, the virtuous, perfect insufficiency. But I wouldn't mind seeing those streets of glory. Would you mind holding on to my purgatory just for a second so I can peek into your promise? See, I'm so honest that I give your paradise back to you, but just don't want to snatch mine away from me. You're that same thief in John 10:10 that comes to kill and destroy, but somehow you still carved out life abundantly. You're so high above me, even with your gluttonous way of fucking me, your fornication and adultery, your lies from the pulpit and your sodomy and secrecy, preacher. Let me borrow your teachings as you pray for my delivery, not to your God, but still on your knees. Can I borrow the lies that is preached from beneath your teeth so I can misuse forgiveness and its power, so I won't cower at the idea of being forsaken? I know this is blatant and selfish of me to ask, but since you sin so much better than me, can I borrow your iniquities? Where's my manners? And excuse my urgencies as I can see that you clearly are not done with me yet. Thank you. Thank you, Micah, for having me. Congratulations. I am so proud of you. I am so proud of you. Like, I remember when I won the Day 8 poetry competition and you was rooting for me. I am rooting for you. I'm so proud of you. Congrats.
Let's give it up. Let's give it up for Mysfit the Lost Boy. Snap it up. That was fierce. That was incredible. Thank you. Thank you so, so much. There is a lot of love that is happening in the chat here in the Zoom room on Facebook Live. I just want to say some more shout outs and kudos. Sasha Sinclair is in the house. Shout out to Sasha Sinclair, who is the other half of Capturing Fire Press, who did a marvelous layout for the book. From Gage CL, she is so dope, referring to Roberta Bennett, I'm sure. Shout out to the folks who just joined us on Facebook Live. Bettina Judd has a shout out there. Brandy Robinson, thank you for being here. Marianne, Fatima, Foy also. Brett Hambrick says, hey, Auntie. So we're gonna keep moving on right here because it gives me great pleasure to introduce our next performer. Most recently was the 2019 nominated Poet Laureate for Alexandria, Virginia. To me, C. Thomas is the Poet Laureate of my rainbow and my heart. I have had the opportunity to share the stage with C. Thomas as a fellow co-host at Busboys and Poets. I have been inspired by C. Thomas's passion, his words, their words, and I've also been fortunate to publish C. Thomas and Micah in our anthology Super Stoked, which is available online. Super Stoked, check that out if you want to read more works by fabulous queer poets. So without any further ado, please snap it up for the one and only, the poetic stylings of C. Thomas. Please snap it up. Unmute.
I'm sorry about that. Hi, everyone. I'm starting that back over. Micah, I am so proud of you. Oh my God, I am so proud of you. This is your first book. You have done so much in a little bit of time that I've known you. I have seen you grow. I have seen you flourish. I've seen you conquer and take over things that you probably didn't think that you were able to do, but I've watched you do them. I've watched you just soar, and I want you to continue soaring, you beautiful Black man. Mother Roberta, my God, that speech, that benediction, more like it. You're just amazing. And to be in your life and Micah's life, I see the light that you have pushed into him. And I see how you have made him that person to glow continuously, no matter what. And I thank you for being that vessel that gave a piece of him through you. I am going to go ahead and do my poem. Title of the book, Things No One Else Wants to Say. And I think that's a very fitting title for Micah. And I think he has the right people attached to this for this. One thing that a lot of people don't talk about, Black men specifically, is their feelings and their emotions. I am going to go ahead and share a poem that it took me a while to write and to get through, but I'm glad I did, because it was the first time I actually shared my deepest emotions with anyone. And for a Black gay man, that is something that we do, but was told not to do. So without further ado, my mother was a strong woman. Worked her fingers to the bone day and night. She worked for her children and barely knew the meaning of the word rest. Never minded the fact that she was sick, weak, and tired of struggling. She pressed on because she had mouths to feed and a household to care for. A household that took her for granted. She skipped not one beat, but that look in her eye was a screaming plea for help. Her strength to press and carry on, it moved my soul in her smile. Her smile was a high five from God. I watched her pull herself from the bed daily to nurture the world, but better known as her responsibilities. Her inner pain and failing health was overshadowed by the legacy she raised, because she knew time would not stand still if she gave up. Once a month was a hospital stay, and I wonder if she ever thought of it as vacation. But what did I know? I was just a nappy-headed little baby boy who thought his mama was God, because when I was sad, she delivered me from it. Her love was church, and I glorified in the temple. Her pill bottles told a different story, one I was never able to comprehend. 2 for her heart, 1 for hypertension, and a breathing tube for asthma. Each one played her synthetic Jesus, and as soon as she got attached, they fled the scene. But my mom was a strong woman. She knew she was a sarcophagus of the women whose blood flowed through her veins. Their fights, their struggles, casted spells in order for her to go on. Her presence, my favorite color. Her laugh, my favorite song, and she was the greatest poem God ever wrote. No need for edits. He knew she was a rough draft that would author 5 of the greatest autobiographies ever written. Each one tailored with punctuation marks meant for their life. She authored each one with the reverse side of every mistake she ever made, and she made sure each one was a bestseller, because my mama was a strong woman. February 1st, 1991. The day I can never erase from memory. I woke up to what I thought was Christmas, but December was 10 months away. I remember the flashing red lights were part of the chariot that always carried my mother off to sanctuary. But this time it felt different. The feeling I normally felt replaced the thump in my stomach, awakening my senses to a tremble. My grandfather not allowing me to see my angel before she took leave. How dare he? Go back to your room was all I heard as the bellhops carried her off to sanctuary. I'm confused and concerned before I even knew the meaning of the 2 words. Mama, I muttered. Fast asleep in my granddaddy's bed, I had no desire to dream because of this emotional shift. At the stroke of midnight, a phone call from my sister to my grandfather said that mama was gone. Awakened to hear the news that my main source of compassion would never breathe again, I fell back to sleep because that nightmare I refused to claim. Only 10 years old and here my mama was gone was the first time I ever felt misplaced. So many thoughts raced through my head and all I could ask was, why, God? She did nothing to deserve this, so why her? But our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done. The prayer she shared before she laid me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. I then heard a verse from her favorite gospel song play in the back of my mind. He said to come to the water and stand by my side and drink from the fountain. You won't be denied. Yes, I have seen every teardrop that fell from your eye. And I rose to tell you, for your tears I died. My eyes became waterfalls. My memories, clouds I would always rest my head upon because I knew she'd always be with me. And although I've seen dark days that chased away the sun, I knew my mama was called home for a greater purpose. Her vacation turned into a permanent stay and she'd finally know the meaning of the word rest. And yes, her eternal slumber was well-deserved because she'd never have to struggle again. I'm now a sarcophagus of my mama. Her fights, her struggles, casted spells for me to go on. Her youngest autobiography, writing rough drafts with no edits. And no, there was no white picket fence with her tending the garden while siblings played cops and robbers in the front yard. I'm a proud product of tattered floors, mice, and roaches. The struggles of life that taught me all is real and to appreciate all that I've got. My mama was a strong woman. Thank you. Congratulations again, Micah. I love you so much.
Let's give it up, snap it up for C. Thomas. If you have just joined us, trigger warning, all the feelings are happening right here. I wish I could tell you the energy that is happening in the Zoom room here with our performers. All the snaps are happening, all of the feelings. We are here to celebrate the book release of Things No One Else Wants to Say by Micah the Poet from Capturing Fire Press. It is available. You want to check this out. The words of a passionate poet is here. We are giving birth to that, and we are celebrating this, but also we're celebrating Micah the Poet. In a moment, I will be introducing Micah the Poet, and you will be able to hear the phenomenal poems that are in this book live. But before I introduce him, I have one more talented, gorgeous performer to introduce. So, Butterflyfree is a multidisciplinary artist, from composing music, mixing beats, doing liturgical dance. Butterflyfree is also working on their debut collection, Butterfly Mixtape. Can we please snap it up for the one and only, the poetic stylings of Butterflyfree?
Hello, everybody. Micah, my brother, my friend, I am very proud of you. I love you. I really appreciate being a part of this. You really don't know how much it means to me that I was somebody that you selected to be a part of your book release. The poem that I'm going to read is in regards to Black men and the stereotypes that comes with being a Black man. Black boy. Be wearing their pants below their ass, Black boy. Be posting memes about wifeys when they don't even make good side niggas, Black boy. Be leaving these babies out here with no daddies, Black boy. Are target practice for the cops if they fit the description, Black boy. Makes white woman grip her purse tighter and cross the street, Black boy. Wears dreadlocks because that's what thugs do, Black boy. Only dates outside their race because sisters have too much attitude, Black boy. Wants us to hold him down while he's sitting behind bars, Black boy. Be having more mug shots than he does pictures on Instagram, Black boys. I'm tired of you being in loving memory on obituaries. I'm tired of seeing you on t-shirts with angel wings, Black boy. Also, just because a Black boy is gay, that doesn't make you more of a man, Black boy. Only gets to talk to his father behind prison glass, Black boys. Are made to be the man of their household while they're still old enough to wear Spider-Man underwear, Black boy. Be blasting gangster rap through speakers that cost more than his car, Black boy. Has over 100 pairs of tennis shoes, but he's still riding the Metro bus, Black boy. Despite what you have been taught, hugging other men is normal. Fist barrier not included, Black boy. Be making wives out of their girlfriends, Black boy. Are here to teach their sons how to shave and their daughters how a man should treat them, Black boy. Just be wanting to make their mamas proud, Black boy. Loves to wear his locks on top of his head like a crown, Black boy. Grow into men who don't cry because they were only taught to suppress, Black boy. Just needs to know somebody cares, Black boys. Just want to be held, Black boys. Get beat on and molested too, Black boys. Also deserve to be saved from the evil castle and live happily ever after, Black boys. Sometimes need to hear, I love you for no reason, Black boys. There is so much pressure from the world for you to succeed. I wonder if you will ever reap your diamonds, Black boy. Be my father, Black boy. Be my brother, Black boy. Be my friends, Black boy. Be the men in this Zoom, Black boys. Are racially profiled because you can't see the HBCU degrees behind all of his tattoos, Black boys. Are doctors, lawyers, teachers, and leaders, Black boys. Are God in an earthly form, Black boys. I need you to know that you matter, Black boys. I need you to raise your fists, but only to start revolutions, Black boy. You are proof that joy comes in the morning. We just want you here with us, smiling, reveling in all your Black boy joy, showing you are more than stereotypes. You are the type that deserves to be played in everyone's stereo. Thank you.
Let's snap it up for Butterflyfree. We are just snapping it up. We are just hooting and hollering back here in the Zoom room. Shout out also to people who have joined us on Facebook Live. Shout out to JJ Parent, Sancho Walker, Antonio Moses, Randy T. Johnson. Shout out to Kate Hodling, who in the chat says, I knew it all those years ago, way back when we met, that your writing, Micah, was special. So we are welcoming you all here for this incredible book party celebration. The book is called Things No One Else Wants to Say. buy the book, go to micahthepoet.com. I gave a shout out to Sasha Sinclair, who has been our layout designer. Shout out, Sasha. This would not happen. Capturing Fire would not exist without all of your artistic vision and support. So thank you. I'm going to give a shout out to Bettina Judd, who is with us on Facebook Live. We have two authors who wrote an incredible blurb at the back here. Bettina Judd is the author of Patient. Bettina says, Micah the Poet writes of emergence, manhood, healing, and love. Things nobody else wants to say, documents a journey into being that is neither linear nor complete, but always fiercely mining for vulnerable truth. Love that, fiercely mining for vulnerable truth. And with love and with heart all the time, I would like to add. So I second that. Our performer, C. Thomas, who just graced our virtual platform, wrote, Micah Powell has given voice and body to matters that are often ignored. He calls out misogyny, homophobia, and racism in a way he only knows how. And this, to be brutally honest, intentionally dismantling social norms. He purposely disassembles and rebuilds himself while instructing others to do the same. Things no one else wants to say is the brutal, beautiful brilliance we need. Well, see, Thomas, you better work that alliteration. Um, on a formal level, Micah the Poet is an orator, writer, poet, DJ, and community activist. Despite barely breaking 30, Micah has been an influential voice all over the country for over 15 years. He's worked with many of today's revolutionary spoken word artists and has been featured at numerous venues, including Busboys and Poets, HBC Theater Company, the Art DC, the National Postal Museum, and the National Portrait Gallery. Currently, Micah works with the DC Public Library to increase literacy and empowerment through education and literary programming, and now as the debut author of Things No One Else Wants to Say. This is a powerful book. I knew it was going to be powerful because last year I invited Micah to perform at the National Postal Museum at the start of Capturing Fire, and Micah's poems blew me away. The poems that he sent in Super Stoked were so on. The passion and the feeling that he exudes is just so apparent. Um, there is no doubt that Micah is brave to not just read his poems, but to perform and relive what it is he felt when he wrote the poem. So, trigger warning, be prepared for all of the feelings, because it gives me great pleasure to introduce the author of Things No One Else Wants to Say. Let's give it up for Micah the Poet.
All right, all right. Hello, everybody.
Go ahead,
Hello. What's up, everybody on Instagram? Hey, how y'all doing?
Hey!
How y'all doing, everybody out there in Zoom land? Wonderful to be here.
That's my Micah. That's my Micah.
2 seconds. 2 seconds, because this love is I did, when I first started doing this, it was every day was a struggle. So getting to a point now, being able to be on the other side and touch people and hold people, even if it's virtually, I am beyond blessed. Y'all don't even know. I just celebrated a birthday. I'm 31 now, 31 years old, made it there.
You're young, yeah.
Yeah. So I just got a pretty short set. Well, maybe, I don't know, it might be short, it might not. I got 10 poems I'm gonna tell you today, and it's gonna go in chronological order, right? I've been doing poetry for a little bit over 20 years. Between writing and doing speeches and things like that, poetry has really kept me grounded through a lot of things that life brings. And I think what I wanted to impart with this book, and I say it a lot all the time, is that we are all in this together. And if I could say something to get people to the point where they are relating to one another, they are speaking to each other, they are holding each other in solidarity, that's what I do it for. All right, so cool. We're gonna just get into this. I will give a slight anecdote before each poem. I'm not really known for giving anecdotes. So I'm more so just known for just getting on the stage and doing it, but you gotta embrace new things. So the first poem that I'm gonna read is one of the first poems, one of the first serious spoken word poems that I wrote that my mom liked. And needless to say, she's my hardest critic. So this poem is called The Jar. Ooh, let me wipe these residual tears. All right, here we go. Once I knew a beautiful brown girl with bright bows in her hair that skipped through the air like meteors in the night sky. She always kept a smile, a gift of kindness for everyone that stepped into her aura, and a backpack filled with papers, pencils, and pens for class, and a jar full to bursting with small rips of paper. And she would keep this jar under her desk, ripping off small corners of her test and shoving them into her jar. Eyes bright and glowing like she was handing a newborn baby to its mother. She cherished these strips of paper as if they were what was keeping her alive. And this young girl performed this ritual day after day until one day I was walking around the corner to get a burger and I saw her crying on a curb, huddled over her jar, her tears smearing the ink on her small ripped pieces of paper. Heartbroken, I sat beside her. But before I could speak, without even looking at me, her freshly tear-stained eyes locked intently on her jar, she says, "It's okay. I'm just counting." See, whenever God gives me tears, I count them while I count my blessings. And my tears always lose to my blessings. Astounded, I sat next to her as she counted her blessings, smiling and glowing a little more with every layer of the jar gone. And soon, she was very new. That beautiful brown girl, a beautiful brown girl with bright bows in her hair that skipped through the air like meteors in the night sky. Whoever thought the cure to misery could be a good memory? So I applaud her being. She made me see the blessing in living, in forgiving. Forever changed, I walked away. Because if she could keep her head up, then I could too. See, she blessed me with the gift of sharing this story with you. Okay. All right, for everybody on Instagram, if you hear some boo-boos in the back, that's the people at my house. Shout out to everybody that has helped me put this together. I am not, I'm good with technology business-wise, but this social media stuff, it ain't my bag all the time. So I do appreciate everybody's time and being able to work with me. So the second poem that we're going to get to is the poem that was referenced in my mom's illustrious introduction of me today. I indeed performed, I competed in a slam competition on Love Talking Slow Jams when I was 14 years old. I was not yet old enough to actually win a prize from a radio station. So I ended up getting second. But I was just so hyped that people, I was on the radio, and this is my first time that I was really syndicated, and I was really excited about it. So this is the poem for that. It's a love poem. It's called I Kept. After we had kissed that first time, I felt like I had finally gotten what was mine. So I kept licking my lips, trying to taste your kiss, trying to drink in some remnant of you. Feeling like if I could just sip you slowly, like Maxwell House, you'd be good to the last drop. When I kissed you that first time, I didn't want to stop. I wanted everything in that moment to last forever. And for that second, when I was on cloud one, there's nothing I wouldn't have done. At that moment where the moon, stars, and sun moved about our bodies and spun, we had become metaphysical. No longer the mere feeling of lust, but it's adoration that makes me stare. I wanted nothing more than to stay right there. See, from the first time we had kissed, I kept licking my lips, trying to taste your kiss, trying to drink in some remnant of you. So yeah, that was that. Spoiler alert about that poem. I had never kissed anybody before. So, okay, so we are on to the next poem. I have dropped my pen, but it's okay. We're gonna keep it moving. This poem is from a couple of years later. I had kissed someone, was going through the throes of being in love, and you know, the trials and tribulations that come with that. So I wrote this poem. Me and all my friends, shout out to the monks, Black Ink monks. We had all got together, and we were writing poems that had songs in the beginning. So this was my contribution. It was called Getting Late. Let me get a little water. Okay. It's getting late. Why you gotta be here beside me, watching, needing, wanting me? Don't need me. See, baby, it's getting late, and the last time I held out my hand, I pulled back a handful of hate, so maybe it's best if you not spend the night. I don't want things to end up in a fight. See, every time we talk of making it right, we go left, so maybe we should just forget. See, the sun looks the same at dusk as it does at dawn. Either way, it's getting late, and you shouldn't be here when the sun is gone. See, I've already daydreamed of what it could be if we decided mutually that we needed to get it together. But your name brings heart pain, and I'm not sure I want to feel all of that again. You brought the rain, and I stood through it. But now I've caught cold, and I'm sick of love. You have denigrated my heart by over-dramatizing your part, and now I am in a state of unconditional nonchalance. You've taught me that love is no art. It is as meaningless as a doodle in a college class. Maybe we just took it too fast. Maybe I'm love blinded. That's why we always crash. We should just let this thing disintegrate. I can't trust no woman now. My mind stays full like a fat man's dinner plate. I think you should leave, love. There's nothing more we can do. It's getting late, but I can't fake. Once you're gone, I'll just miss you again. Be ready to make those same old mistakes again. Okay, that's getting late. All right, so those are, wipe my nose a little bit. That's not cool. Hell on the live, right, y'all? Okay, so those are three poems that are actually from the book. So we're gonna get into some poems that were my favorites, but didn't necessarily make it into the book. Y'all still with me out here? Yeah, we got a little couple viewers and stuff. All right, cool. So this poem, I wanted it to make it, but it was just a little, it's just a little too long. So, but it's called Love and War. So here we go. We fight so hard that I should call myself the general. I set each battle in motion against the enemies found in my mistrust for her, and she would call herself my foot soldier. The way she fights alongside me valiantly, wears the garments I gave her as a sign of loyalty. As general, I decorate my finest soldier. Take her to heights where she sees golden stars. Stand still as I pin her purple heart for bleeding for a cause that I find necessary. Just like in any war, fear is the biggest adversary. She was never imaginary. AWOL is not an option. By sharing this love, she had been drafted. Now, here, after the battle is over, the dust has settled and the bodies of the brokenhearted lay about the battlefield of our love. She stands. She stands on the land that the general has given her to fight upon. She will not quit in this war of hearts. She fights to defend my fears. In return, I let her reap the benefits of a seasoned vet. See, she calls me daddy. And if that's true, then my house is the patriarch. She says I must understand why she is so patriotic. The way we fight in this relationship is like a war of hearts. A war of hearts where I am the general and she is my foot soldier. Yes, that one was one that is an exclusive to this live. I did not make the book at all. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, so the next one we're gonna have, this is the last love poem of the set. I thought I'd put like 3 or 4 in here because people like that kind of stuff. All right, this is the last. What? Okay, this is the last one. Oh, there is one more love poem after this. So this is second to last. Okay, this poem is called Chubby Chaser. She called me a chubby chaser because she a fluffy girl with a big ass heart. And all she wants is to be loved right. And not like that strange man that one night, and not like the first time, like the kind of love that lines your tears, gives purpose to apprehension. She's looking for the quintessence, like a 5th dimension. It could just be theory. Maybe I've gotten too deep. This is just a poem about a large lady making fun of me because she failed to see the beauty I saw in her body. Hard to make her see how I fell deeper than 6 feet. That buxom soft exterior falls inferior to how good she looks on the inside. But because sometimes family and friends' acceptance depends on a weight assessment, she would look to anything but love to avoid rejection. And maybe even believe love requires a little pain and suffering. She called me a chubby chaser. She figured I was addicted to the sweet squeeze of her cheeks, her bust, and her belly, or the fact that she could eat. I love her like this so that she can use her teeth. Like how she smiled when she found a hug could make her feel beautiful. How she relaxed when she ran into flowers and dinner after a long day. How her shoulders slacked when she found a caring touch could make the pain go away. She called me a chubby chaser. Thought me peculiar. In her mind, beauty comes from smooth skin, thin, slim frames that make for perfect pictures, not for works of art. I told her, you were created, and I am a connoisseur. I don't look for perfection, I look for inspiration, and that's what's manifested in that body, whatever it looks like. It's beautiful and amazing. She looked at me crazy, and I knew it was because she didn't know a human could see like a creator. Flowers bloom, fruit follows. Who's to say which engorges the senses more? All right, so that was another one that did not make it into the book. This next poem this is for real the last love poem. I have not always been the best at oh Lord, I have not always been the best at love and loving. Um, but this poem, I think really gets into that, and it explains kind of how we all get sometimes. This is my mom's favorite love poem that I've ever written. Shout out to myself for that. Okay, it's called Times. Here we go. When I asked you to leave me alone, I meant to say, leave your childish ways and come grow with me. When I told you to shut the fuck up, I really meant, I want to know that you're listening. Anger is a protective emotion. When I said you didn't deserve me, I meant to say, we deserve better than the love that we're giving each other. It's funny how things just don't come out right when you're mad. I mean, angry. I mean, mad. I'm crazy about you. I remember we thought falling in love would be fun, like a 90s Black sitcom. Now the 21st century has us more worried about retrograde than acting our age. I meant to tell you, none of these fights are worth it. Instead, I just kept nitpicking. It's funny how we lose sight of what's really important, trying to fight for what we think is really important. When I walked away from you, I meant to stay. I meant to tell you all I love in this world is you. Instead, I opted for loneliness. The surety of my shadow comforts me much more than our love ever could. So that was Times. That was the, I guess you could say that was kind of like a summation of what I learned about love. It's through all of those trials and tribulations. Oh, look at that. Don't get on. All right. My mama making me cry. Here we go. Okay, so we are almost done, y'all. We're rolling through here. We're almost done. It's only 4 poems left. The next poem on the list, I am queer. I am a queer person. And it took me a really long time to say that out loud, confidently, and not worry about what would happen if I did. So in going through the motions of recognizing that for myself, I wrote a poem called Letter to the Bigot. There's nothing really else to say about that. So here we go. Sorry about that. You know, my mama getting me, y'all. My mama getting me. A letter to the bigot. A letter to the man who believes God has made a mistake in creating me. God has no gender, but is 3 beings. We are all trying to be more God-like. God gave me quandaries and helped me through. Strength to show who I could be despite my circumstances. God gave me testimony. My heart and life's purpose is all for the glory of my Maker. God's goal is to create life that will praise the Creator. No mistake here. That was Letter to the Bigot. I think everybody, well, yeah, you see everybody like that a little bit when that was a relatively short one, but it is near and dear to my heart. Like I said, it has been a very long road getting to a point where I am not only okay with looking in the mirror, but I'm okay with you guys looking at me. I stopped doing poetry for 4 years after I got out of college. I was very, very broken for a while. And so in order to kind of get myself out of it, when I started, going through therapy and processing my trauma and things like that, I started writing myself notes on life that I promised myself I was going to read like 50 years from now, I'll be like 70 and pull them out and be like, hey, it was wise. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was what I wanted to do for myself. So I wrote these notes on life, and there's a couple of them in the book, but I'm going to read my very first one. This is the very first note on life that I wrote. And it was the beginning of kind of what I call it my road to redemption. So here it is. It's August 18th, 2018. So this is right around the time where I started writing again, not necessarily doing shows or anything, but I just got back to writing. They never tell you how messy healing is. I remember my mother used to fall on her knees at the church altar some Sundays and just cry. And I mean cry. I never understood. I would just hold her hand. I get it now. She was healing. I am overwhelmed at this point in my journey with all of the feelings I'm allowing myself to finally feel without freaking out or shutting down. I'm working through the muck of 20 years of pent-up emotions, being who I am and all that encompasses unapologetically. Learning that I am not in this realm to please you. I have seeds to plant, a legacy to build. I am bursting and ready, but a little scared to embrace me and let loose of the world. Trying to change the last of these bad habits, holding my hands back from beating on myself. Learning that tough love ain't the only love. Growing, experiencing, changing. So that was my very first notes on life. I think I made a mistake. Okay, all right. I'm gonna change that down. Sometimes you gotta go with the flow. All right, so this is, I'm gonna take it back a little bit. I wrote this when I was 15 because I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my poetry and as a poet. So this poem is called Ear to the Streets. There we go. I'm trying to use my creativity to say something that's gonna make y'all feel me. Say something to move you and sprinkle that special sparkling tingly that speckles your spirit like the poetry your ears are worthy to hear. I don't want to half step on this. There's been too many times while caught up in my own personal time, I've used my poetry to give you an explanation of me instead of something to feed you mentally. I yearn for inspiration that would make my words so deep that they appeal to your aesthetic. Like my words will compare to the purple haze cast by Jimmy. I want you to hallucinate while I'm speaking. Sorry. Sit back and see how far this rabbit hole goes. I want to pique your curiosity like sex to a young woman in chastity. Keep pushing until you feel a break in your pubic. Let me mind love you like you've never been loved before. I want to say something to make you feel. I guess the best thing for me to do is give my ears to you. Make the reason why I'm in your mental is because I'm influential. I want to put my ears to these streets, literally. I want to document every pebble. I want to count the woes of every teenage pimple, tell of things complex and simple, from the problems with geriatrics to hurt little Black girls to crooked police tactics. I want to be like T.I., always know what's up, what's happening. Comment on how people are acting. Remind folks that the pain is just a fraction. This is a big life we lead. Short, precious, blank, and pure. All we need do is add the happy little trees and the playful fluffy clouds and the sturdy little bushes. Make a portrait the world will remember. I want to be a storyteller. Keep my ear to the pavement. Document how humanity made it. That way, I will always have something to say. All right. Thank you all. Thank you all so much for hanging with me for this long. What time is it now? 8:08. Y'all been with me for a whole hour now. So thank you so much. I really do appreciate you guys taking the time out to see me and hear me. You can follow me on Instagram, Micah the Poet on Instagram. MicahThePoet.com is my website. You can also purchase the book from there as well. And there is, and Micah the Poet is also my Facebook link as well. Okay, so we are now doing the last poem. Oh, shout out to Regie, shout out to Capturing Fire. Regie, man, you know what? You are something else. I'll tell you that much. You have changed my life for the better. I appreciate you. I appreciate Capturing Fire. Everybody that has purchased a copy, Panda purchasing a copy. I miss you. I love you. I thank you so very much for all your support. This is the last poem. We are going to, I think we got an interview after this short interview. We will take some questions and comments from the audience. And that'll be a wrap. Okay. So this is kind of like my ode to myself through all of this healing I've been doing. This was pretty much the culmination of everything. A letter from a queer to the world. To whom it may concern. Most of us are ripped, battered, and torn from dark, closeted past. We come from childhoods where we were mostly shadows and masks. Queer. An adjective to describe something strange or odd. When I was young, people would ask me what I wanted to grow up to be. And I would always say normal. I was aware at present I was not. These buds of self-doubt grew, bloomed, and showered my senses shortly after I reaped my first harvest of self-loathing. People always ask me what queer love looks like. And I tell them, it looks like rain in a desert. It looks like snow in Johannesburg, like a dirt road in a thick forest, like lightning with no thunder. It looks like love we didn't think it could be. It looks as hard fought for as it feels. It looks like week-long romances ending in marriage, and maybe we do get married too quick, but it's only because our longing to build something beautiful from the ruins of such early trauma and heartbreak is overwhelming. We have been fighting to be seen since before we could remember, to be understood. So we hug strangers, hold parties for people that act like us, create spaces void of family and maybe some friends and call it safe. Constantly searching for comfort from our demons, we reclaim the word love from our parents and our churches like Black people did nigga, threw some glitter on that bitch and rebranded it a verb. We did what they thought we couldn't. We survived together. Thank you all so very much. All right, Instagram.
Can we just snap it up, give it up, raise the roof for the one and only Micah the Poet? Wow. Yes. Applause is happening right here in our Zoom. Applause out there on Facebook Live and YouTube Live. If you just joined us, this is the book party celebration for Things No One Else Wants to Say by Micah the Poet from Capturing Fire Press. I am Regie Cabico, publisher and founder of Capturing Fire. Also shout out to Sasha Sinclair, who's the other half of Capturing Fire. At this point, I would like to have the honor of interviewing our author. And then we will also take some questions. Maybe our interview will be about 10 minutes and then maybe 10 minutes of audience questions. If you have questions, you could type it in the Zoom chat. I am looking at the Facebook live chat. Shout out to Christine LaRocco and Barbara Michelle, who just joined us on Facebook Live. Wow. I'll have to say it. Wow, this is more excitement than I've had since March 13. Such jubilee. Thank you so much. I personally needed to be a part of this event just because of the pure love and the heart. And I think you go through so many emotions in the book. I've seen you perform live. I've read the poems in the book. The book is a testament of survival. It's those up against the wall moments that are the reflections of passing through the fire, pain, grief, change. I want to read what you posted on your Facebook yesterday. I want you to respond to that, and then we'll also just talk about the book. But yesterday you said, if y'all told me when I was 15, I would not only be alive at 31, but an author sitting around posing with the book I wrote, I would have fought you for trying to speak positively over my life like that. Every morning I have to remind myself I'm worth it. I wouldn't have made it here if there wasn't something inside me that is purposed for something. Someone would have stopped me by now. I have cussed, fought, cheated, lied, threatened, you name it. I have been a toxic person in people's lives more than I've been the good guy, but here I am on the other side with a book to tell you all about how I got through. So I feel that is a good place to start because 15 is not so far away. And 15 years later, wow, a difference it makes. And the poems of the book, how do the poems reflect the statement of that difficult time? And I know what it's like to go through your work and trying to put it in a svelte, slim volume. So I guess I would just want you to respond to that statement as well as to the creation of the book.
So whenever I had to post about the book release, I knew I was going to have to do kind of a longer post. And while I was thinking about what to say, I thought about every morning I would wake up probably around 4 or 5 in the morning and kind of just sit in the dark in awe of my willingness to keep going. And I sit and I count my blessings often because I guess, you know, we go through life and we don't always make the best choices about things. And I think I was always the type of kid that had to touch the fire to know it was hot. I had to be severely burnt in order to believe that it was real. And so I've lived a little bit harder than, you know, most people, most of it of my own making. But I think being at a point where I could finally conceptualize all of my life experiences and the things that I've wrote about it, and kind of put it into this slim frame of a book was, I think it was cathartic. It helped a lot in understanding why I did a lot of the things that I did and how I came out on the other side. Okay, and you know, it just baffles me every day. God watches out for babies and fools, and I suppose, you know, I've been the latter for a long time. So
Right. Um, I want to say that in the introduction to the book, the title comes from your brother,
Mm.
um, who gave you the idea for the title of this book. How old were you when he said, things no one else wants to say? That should be your book because that's you. You always tell the truth. And I said, like a true Sagittarius, very, very truthful. So, what I would like to go back to that moment, how old you were, and uh, a little bit about young Micah, as you said, touching the fire.
Yeah, things no one else wants to say. The book title, I was 7, my brother was 11. Um, Me and my brother are very, very close. We call each other twins, even though we're 4 years apart. We just have the same mannerisms and stuff. But our mom made us journal all the time. Every day we would have to write something down in the journal about how we felt, or things that we experienced during the day. And so I didn't like reading or writing growing up. I knew how to do it, but it just wasn't my favorite. And we were journaling, me and my brother were journaling one night, and I told him, I had said, if I'm gonna do all of this writing, I may as well just write a book or something. And he goes, well, yeah, well, if you write a book, you need to call it things no one else wants to say, because that's what you do all the time. You say things that nobody else wants to say. And I think that kind of evolved to saying things that no one else should say. But it ended up working out all right in the end for me, on that point.
I want to say that the artwork, the cover is gorgeous. It's so evocative. Um, and that's one thing that poets are not conscious of about what is the visual that you wanted to project. So I wanted to talk to you about the cover, the concept, which is just really so gorgeous and evocative. And it is, the tiny child touching the hand of
I'm
the
not.
fire.
Okay. My mom's currently in the background telling me to lie to y'all about where that picture came from. But I'm gonna tell you the most I can without embarrassing myself.
Okay.
So the the background, I mean the picture on the book. So this picture right here, I still have this stool. I should tell y'all that this stool is still in my house. I use it every single day. Um,
What?
yes. But the picture, remember I had said I was kind of the kid that had to touch the fire and burn uh, myself in order to really learn my lesson. That picture, I was sitting in the corner from saying things that I shouldn't have been saying at the time. So the picture was very indicative of just me as a person, always being very rebellious, being very independent, very fierce and defensive of my emotions and the things that I wanted to express. Um, so I thought that would be really fitting for the title. Needless to say, this is not the only picture that I have sitting in the corner, but I thought it would be the one that was the most fitting for the book.
Um, in the introduction, at the end, you say you comment on the structure of the book, which is in 3 parts, which is there's family, life, and love. And you say in your introduction, they are cyclical, that family, life, and love are cyclical and they feed off one another. I just wanted you to talk more about that and the tones of the book. And they're like 3 movements, like a 3-act play. So would you talk a little bit about the structure and the sections? A little bit of a teaser um, about the structures.
Okay, so the book is structured more like a act in 3 plays. Thank you, Reggie, for that. It's more like that, and it's more set up like a memoir than an actual compilation or just your regular anthology of poetry. Um, and I set it up that way. I think I've been writing this book for about 7 years. So the very first draft of my book, I let my godmother read it and everything, and she said, they said, it don't have no flow, baby. It don't got no flow. I don't like that. And so I said, okay. And I had to sit with, these 100 some odd poems and really really try and find the common link between all of them. And I think love, uh, life, and family are probably the three biggest things that I always, one, get asked to write about, and two, I often end up writing about in order to kind of express not only what I'm feeling, but what other people are feeling. And so I thought those were three kind of broad categories that, I would be able to fit the poems into. And that would also put the reader in the mind frame that they were supposed to be in while they were reading the part of the book. So if you see love in big letters and you read an introduction about love, then you'll be, more. My thought would that you'd be more amicable to reading 30 love poems in a row. So.
Right. Um, I want to talk to you because you said you've been working on this book for 7 years, and you could finally let these poems go. I know this book will be throughout DC Public Library. 2021 is going to have some more author readings. You will be featured at Capturing Fire. Um, you're out there now. This book is out there. You're such a passionate librarian. The folks love you. They're gonna read this book. They know you, and people are gonna be checking this out at the library. How does it feel just to have this pinnacle, this moment for you?
I think it's finally hitting me now. I have finished up boxing up the first round of orders for everybody that's ordered a copy. And I was scared to seal them. There was nothing wrong with the packages. I just didn't want to do that last thing. But I think once it was all done and now that they're ready to go, I think I have let go of a lot. And I think I'm ready now for that poetry to kind of help other people. I'm ready to pay it forward. But also, I think I've caught the author bug because I'm already working on my second book.
Yeah,
So
so you want to do another one? You're addicted now. I'm gonna do my next book. This is old now. I'm gonna do my next thing.
right.
I
Yeah.
want to.
I wanted to. Oh, sorry about that. I just wanted to ride this wave for a little bit longer, and then we got to get right back to work.
I want to say that Capturing Fire, we've only done maybe about 3 or 4 author books. I'm really proud that we have been able to publish you. I think that you're our first DMV local author for Capturing Fire Press. And so thank you. It's an honor to be able for you to be the first on our line. And I'm so excited as we take this book, as more events happen. You want to check out Micah the Poet .com
Yeah.
for more info. Also, capfireslam.org. As we look, and we will be shortly announcing our 2021 dates for Captured Fire, which is an international queer spoken word festival. We were on break this last year because of circumstances, but we're going. We're going. And so I would like to at least turn it over with to see if there are questions from our Facebook live audience or anyone in the Zoom. We could
Right.
also questions.
As well as the Instagram, y'all out there on Instagram. If you have any questions for me, for those of you who just joined, if you have any questions for me, you can go ahead and drop them in the comments, and I will do my best to answer them.
One of my favorite poems in the book is Roots. It's a small, tiny poem. but it it's it just feels of the theme, especially the ending. Would you mind reading Roots? I haven't seen a
Uh,
question yet.
yeah, I can read it. It's Roots is one of my favorite ones. I being an eccentric person, people always ask me a lot of questions about my life. So I decided to write a poem about it. Maybe they'd ask less questions. People often question what I was raised as: Christian or atheist, Republican or Democrat, Black or African American, boy or girl. My mother raised me to be happy, showed me that saying hello don't hurt a thing, and smiling is just exercise. Arm me with the facts like a hug can save the day. Never hold back joy.
Yeah, yeah, never hold back joy. It's what I felt tonight. Joy and love and the art. Um, what are you working on right now? What's or now that these themes, and I'm sure these themes will come back. Oh, here's a question. Uh, uh, from start to finish, what did you feel was the biggest challenge, and what brought you the most joy? And I think from start to finish of the book, I think,
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. Oh, okay. So from start to finish, I think the biggest challenge in the book was learning to love myself. Um, and not so much love myself in the sense of being able to um like be proud of myself, but love myself in the sense of love myself enough to put myself out into the public eye. Um, that was the biggest struggle because I think for a long time I didn't really think I belonged anywhere. I didn't really feel safe anywhere. And even though I was a poet, I would only perform live. I would never let people record me or take anything home from me because I didn't want them, essentially to judge me or to figure out something that they didn't like about me and, vilify me for it. So I think the hardest part was just learning to love and accept myself for who I was. And I mean, for who I am, and be able to lean into that and represent myself with this body of work. And what brought me the most joy, I think, was accomplishing that and being able to finally see myself as like an actual human being that is relevant and belongs here in this space and is loved and um, being able to really feel it and not, outside of in my family or whatever what have you, but just I think on a public stage, not being able to get to a point where I was confident in myself and in my body of work, I think was the most joyful part of the process.
wow, thank you. I have another
Um,
question for you, and I don't know. There's still room for some more questions, but I got to snap it up for all the people that you invited to present tonight. So again, I want to snap it up for Mysfit the Lost Boy, Steve Tom, Butterfly Free, and also Roberta Bennett. Um, I want if you would briefly talk about how these people are connected because it's all the evening of like the Avengers. Like you all need your own like Marvel comic because you're all fierce and passionate and incredible. So would you mind talking about those connections with those poets?
yeah, I I've seen so C. Thomas is one of my really, really good friends. That's my brother right there. He has gotten to be a part of walking in my house without knocking type family over the years. And he not only kind of grounded me a lot when I was going through some rough times, he also exposed me to things. When, depression, I don't know if y'all know, but it has a tendency to make you isolate yourself. And Chris would take me to events and take me to his shows, or take me to just somewhere where I could be out and learn something and enjoy some art and things like that. And I've always loved his poetry. I've always loved his just dynamic character and his humbleness and his willingness to always be open and love no matter what he's been through. It's a huge, huge, huge inspiration to me. And through Chris, I met Mysfit C. Thomas. I met Mysfit and Miss Butterflyfree. And I think those are the two poets that made me just cry. They just made me cry every time I would hear their poems or listen to their stories. And we would sit and talk about everything that we've been through, how we've persevered or came out on the other side, or, the things that we've learned. I ended up learning a lot from them. And I'm not like a chit chatty person. I don't call and text people all the time, but whenever people truly touch me, I try to make sure that I stay in touch with them, or I stay up with them. And Mysfit and Butterflyfree, their poetry has just always moved me in a space where it's cathartic. I experience a catharsis. And so I definitely, wanted them to be, wanted all three of them to be a part of this experience, because they are one of the people that say they are some of the people that say things that no one wants to say. And so it was good I had a little things no one wants to say gang with me today. I liked that. My mom, that's my girl right there. Anybody that knows me knows my mom is my main person in my whole entire universe. And she is correct. That is the first time she's ever spoken on my behalf and said things that I didn't even know she felt that way. So I appreciated that, and I love being able to see the reactions that my work gets, especially from people that I admire. I tell my mom now that I'm older that no matter what I did when I was growing up, I was always like nice to her, because I wanted her to be my friend. Like, I know she was my mom and stuff. She was always gonna have to love me and stuff. But sometimes people love their kids and then that's it. I wanted her to like me and think I was cool too. So I was always just trying to, do things that she might like or find admirable because I admired her. And so, yeah, the people that were involved with this show from the ground up, from, one of my really good friends that's actually working this stream right now. These are all people.
Shout it out for Steph Love. I forgot to. Let us not forget the incredible Steph Love, who has been doing all of our tech. And as I said, Stefana is how I call Steph. Go to Stefan on up. So I forgot to shout Steph. So thank you, Steph Love. Sorry to interrupt you, Micah.
Oh no, you're fine. Thank you, and shout out to Steph Love. Yes, and is also one of my very good friends that I admire, and that has kept me and held me throughout a lot of things that I've been through over the years. So it was a great team. It's great putting it together. It was a really great show. I had a lot of fun, and I'm glad that I was able to pull it off with the people that I love.
Micah, I think we're at about time right now. I'm truly, truly excited. This is the highlight of my 2020, this whole evening,
Mhm.
publishing this book. It is, and I said, Micah, we could push it later. Should we do it in December? What are we going to do? But I feel that as we approach the solstice, as we are in the midst of a new year and a whole transition, this book is so pertinent now. And I'm just so happy that we're able to make this happen, and that all of the warm feelings and the impact of what's going to happen once people read the book and it's out there, it's just going to be incredible. We're going to need this book as we move forward. I just can't thank you enough for your talent and your generosity. And so I just want to say that, and I'm going to turn it back to you to close it out. We got a standing ovation in the Zoom chat. So I'm going to, it is my honor to be a part of this event. And so I'm going to let you close it out.
Okay, cool. All right, everybody. Well, thank you so very much for taking time out to be on this live with me. Thank you for everybody on the Instagram. I really appreciate you. I love you guys. Big waves to everybody. Please visit micahthepoet.com or amazon.com to get your copy of the book. Um, I will be sending out signed copies if you order them from micahthepoet.com. Um, they will be signed. You have a little note and all of that. So um, go ahead and make your orders there. And also, you can just keep up with me. You can also send me a message on the page as well, just if you want to say hello. I love talking to people and meeting up with you online, virtually for right now. So be and also just be looking out 2021. We're probably going to start some type of socially distanced physical shows then. So just make sure that you stay up with my pages: Micah the Poet Facebook, Micah the Poet Instagram, micahthepoet.com. Yeah, and I love you guys. I appreciate your time. Have a great night. Thank you so much.
Go in, poet, go in. Wow, go in.
Micah! Woo!
That's my black squirrel. That's my black squirrel.
Are we still on
Did
Facebook
it!
Live?
We did it! We did it! Yeah, Bonnie Simo, we did it!
It's done now.
Oh Lord, I wish I could buy everyone a drink. I wish I could have a cake for you all. I love cakes. This is a cake occasion. Thank you, everybody. More to come. And